I'm Tracy from MeatRx. I'm here with another success story. We have our friend Ernest, and he's going to tell us how carnivore changed his life. Hi, Ernest.
Hi, Tracy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Well, good.
Thank you. Can you tell me what your health conditions and your diet was like before carnivore?
Okay. Well, I had actually been a fan of Atkins since like the 80s. And so I had eaten relatively low carb, for many years. And I was working up in the Arctic for 30 years there too. So they fed us pretty good up there, but I could pick what I wanted to eat, so I just always stuck probably to the lower end of carbs, once in a while to have a cheat day or something when it's a holiday or something like that. But generally speaking, I mean, I was eating real, not that bad. But then I retired in 2015 and I was still in good shape. I'm 70 now, by the way. So if you get a timeline here, I was actually 66 in 2015, and I'll be 71 this year. So anyway, and so the next year, I did beach walks and everything, and kept doing stuff to stay in shape. But then 2016, so summer of 2016, August to be specific, I visited my son up in Seattle, and we went out to the San Juan Islands with his family and all, and blackberries were in season. So I can see where this is going, but anyway, and so they told me, you got to try these blackberry crepes, we were eating, and so I tried some blackberry crepes. I thought, well, I'll never get to do this again, and so then that led to blackberry homemade ice cream and blackberry one thing and another. And it would have been okay had I just stopped right there. But unfortunately, on the way to my walk every morning at the beach, there's a nice German bakery, that makes good apple strudels and kolaches and all this good stuff. So I kept it up, right? And in no time at all, it seemed like I was up from 180, had been my pretty steady weight, and I went up to 230, I mean, just right now, 50 pounds I put on in that 1 year. And in fact, it got so bad so quick that I went to see the doctor because my feet were swelling really bad. I mean, it hurting, and I had to sell my brand new 2017 Mustang convertible because I couldn't get in and out of it. and my but I'd get out of breath so bad and everything. He was worried, and I was a little bit worried too that it might be congestive heart failure or something, going on. So they ran me in the hospital. Actually, I ran a bunch of tests and everything and all this, and finally came to the conclusion that I was just too fat. And if you think about it, everybody say, well, 50 pounds, I hear people on these sites saying, well, I lost 100 pounds, I lost this and that. But just sticking with 50 pounds, that's like 2 25-pound sacks of dog food, let's say, and carry one under each arm all day, every day, everywhere you go. And it's like, it's got to wear you out, really. I mean, and so anyway, so I was out the next year in Big Bend, a national park area, and going hiking in the desert mountains out there, and I wasn't hiking for nothing, I mean, I was I go a few steps and I mean, be out of breath and everything, and I thought, well, this has just got to stop, I got to do something. And I had tried going back mostly low carb and everything, and one day in my room when I was spending a little time there, I happened to come upon Kelly Hogan's site. And she's so down to earth and real, you just gotta love her, and it's, just all of a sudden it clicked, because back when I was up in the Arctic, I knew this young lady who in the 80s that had gone out to college. She was when they say outside up there, they mean the lower 48. So, and she had gone to college down there. She was a Nupiaq Eskimo from up there, and she and they had ethnic dinner, and she said, well, I didn't know what to do, because if I was going to serve up an ethnic dinner, it was just going to be a big old chunk of caribou meat out in the middle of the table with a knife stuck in it. That was our dinner, you know. The only carbs, she went on to say, the only carbs or plant food that they ate up there was the tundra grasses don't get very big because the summer's short, you know, and also they, the little lemmings that live underground, they're like little hamsters. They run around tunnels and everything. And then they cut these grasses and make little hay piles. And when they dry it out in the sun, because it's daylight all the time during the summer up there. The sun never goes down, you know, during the summer. And so they dry out these grasses, and then they take it down and store it in their tunnels, you know. But the Eskimos gather up this food, this mousy food. They call it mousy food. And they take it and they'll use that as like a garnish on their meat or something, crumble it up like you would spices or something, just to kind of change it up, things a little bit, you know. Even if you eat the same thing all the time, you know, you'd like to sometimes have a little variety of something, you know. So that's what they do. And but that's the only, you know, and they've been living in the toughest environment for thousands of years, you know, like this way. But it just didn't occur to me that I could eat that way, you know. So anyway, I saw Kelly's thing that kind of struck a tone with me. I thought, yeah, you know, why not? Why not? They look like they're big, you know. That's a misconception. Eskimos look like they think they're really poly, but they're not. It's the way that they wear so much clothing, you know. Underneath all that, they're wiry little people, you know, real strong, sturdy, wiry little people, you know. And tough, you know. But anyway, so I thought that give it a try, and it was April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2018. And I went ahead and started the carnivore diet. I got off of it in August 31st, the end of August, so it was exactly 5 months. And this is really stupid, actually, looking back at it. I mean, I was having success already with all kinds of things, and I wasn't expecting. And I decided, I'd read Jason Fung's book on fasting. I thought, well, maybe I ought to try this, you know. Maybe I might lose weight faster if I did this, you know, because I was losing weight, but I thought, well, I could go faster still. And that was a stupid thing. I'll tell you what, for me, it did not work. I did everything just according to the way he had it laid out and everything. And I ended up getting really weak, losing muscle mass. My legs were actually hurting, painful. I mean, hurting, cramps and everything in my legs. And I was, you know, and I was hungry all the time, you know, and they just pushed through it, you know. Like, why push through it, you know? When other people on the carnivore diet, they just eat all you want, you know. And it's like, I didn't, that sounded better, you know.
Yeah, I even watched a video today with Kelly Hogan, and she was talking with Charles Washington, and they're both veteran carnivores. And she was saying, you know, that you don't need to fast when you're doing carnivore. I mean, to do carnivore. Carnivores mimics fasting. So that was very interesting.
Right. That's a, I'll have to watch that. But that's the thing. It's just so you know, counterintuitive, I guess, to eat a lot of fat to get thin. You know? but it does work, you know. And one of the things I was really amazed to find was that the other conditions that I had, and I didn't attribute it to that, but I was having simultaneously with the weight, you know, obvious weight problems, you know. It was skin conditions, and, you know, eczema. I never had this in my life, you know, and I started getting eczema really bad on my tops of my hands and tops of my feet and ankles and all this stuff. And first doctor told me it was a bacterial infection, he thought, so he gave me antibiotics and creams to put on and all that stuff, and that did nothing, you know. And so I went to another doctor, and he sent me to a dermatologist who also got it wrong. He said, oh, it's a fungal infection, you know. I said, well, fine, you know, and he gave me pills and stuff, you know, and creams and things for fungus. And finally, I went home. I got on online and went through a symptom checker, you know, and I mean, it was just obvious. Yeah, I mean, the pictures and everything, it looked exactly like what I had, you know, exactly. Just swollen red and bright red like sunburn, but with little bumps. And I mean, itching so bad, you know, I wake you up at night itching. And that went away, plus something else that I'd had for years that I just chalked up. I didn't know what it was. It was start itching behind my knees, on the back of my legs, or the itching, and dock itch and stuff like that. I was using stuff for that, and no avail. All that just went away. I mean, and then that wasn't all. Then I had this seborrheic keratosis, which they're like a big brown mole, elongated, but rough, like a wart, real rough, kind of like a wart. I had one over my eye come in, and I thought, well, shoot. You know, I went to the doctor, and he froze that off, and another one came up right immediately, a hairline, and I thought, well, man, I don't have to chase these all over, you know. And then I had my shirt off, and I had them all over, everywhere, man, all over my chest and my side and my back and everything. And I'd seen them on old people at the beach, you know, and I thought, well, it's just something from getting older. But I thought, well, this is out of control here. This is too much, you know. And there again, when I went on carnivore, that all disappeared. I mean, that just, everything resolved itself, you know, all the itching, everything. And his skin conditions, I mean, it just disappeared. I mean, literally just went away. And I definitely thought that those were due to, I was believing, you know, some kind of fungus or parasite or something was happening, you know, that was making all this. And it wasn't. It was just a diet. It was just a good old, you know, American diet, only actually really even a more like a keto diet, to be honest with you. I mean, I was eating real close to that. I wouldn't eat anything with any, I had all my carb tables memorized, you know, how much, you know, I could eat green beans and asparagus or whatever. Avocado was mostly, you know, fiber and all this stuff and everything and fats. So that would be good for you, right? But no. So I cut out everything, you know, and then so anyway, that all resolved. The weight's good. I had a ton of energy. In fact, the next year, last Labor Day of last year, my daughter met me out in Big Bend, and she lives in Austin, and we did a bunch of hiking together and everything. And she couldn't believe it. She says, "Dad, it's like you're young again, you know, and everything." I said, "Yeah, I feel young again." You know, we're just whistling up mountains and stuff, and you know, it's amazing, really. I mean, it's really amazing. It's such a, it seems like a miracle almost, you know, but it's just what we were meant to eat. And like I said, the ancestral part was one of the things that caught my attention with Barry Groves and all these other people, because, you know, having worked with people who were eating ancestrally not very long ago, in the 1900s, they were eating ancestrally, you know, way back in the 1900s, you know. And you know, they were there, and I mean, I watched them pull a whale up on the beach, a bowhead whale there, what we call Westdock, the village of Nuiqsut, which is about 60 miles west of us, and butchered up. It's really neat to watch a whole village get on a whale and make chow out of it in no time at all. You know, they really get to work together and everything. And but yeah, and so I don't know. I just it makes really a lot of sense, you know. And
so, what kind of foods did you start out with when you decided just to go all carnivore? Did you just eat steak or? Yeah,
well, I ate a lot of ribeye and and a lot of hamburger too. Though I ate a lot of 80-20 hamburger. I tried the 70-30, but that's just too much. It's just too much. You know, water and fat and stuff ends up, you know, just in the pan, and you just can. I tried eating some the fat like that, and that's just like I didn't really feel too good after eating just that pure liquid fat, you know. What I would do, and what I still do, when I cook like a ribeye on a George Foreman grill, that's what I use a lot. It's got a little catch pan there, then I'll take that rendered fat that ends up in the catch pan, and I'll pour it over it to the steak to moisturize it and everything. And I do a little bit of that. The way I cook hamburgers is a little different. I keep it really simple. I just brown it up in a skillet and I put it in a bowl, you know. It kind of drains it as you put it over in the bowl with, you know, with a spatula, with a slotted spatula. And and then I'll spoon in a little bit of the rendered fat, like I said, just to give it some moisturizing, you know, so it's not dried out like. And I ate it that way, you know, hamburger. And right now after this, I'm going to be eating. I've got a choice of either ribeye or I've got a pound of leftover chuck roast I cooked yesterday, you know. So I've got the chuck roast, and that's another thing I can eat. And when I eat in breakfast is a little different. It's there's a breakfast sausage called Old Folks Country Sausage or something, and it's got like no additives. You can even get it no MSG. You can get it all natural one, and it's just the pork, and it's good cuts of pork, and like tenderloin and stuff like that, and hand cuts, and that they, you know, it's ground up made patties, and but it does have salt and sugar in it, you know. It does have a little sugar because it's just like with bacon, it's cured with some. But I find that doesn't affect. If anything, my ketosis goes way up because I've got a keto mojo and I check it all the time. Before this I checked and I was 0.8, you know, but it usually runs like in the afternoon I have 1.1 or something like that. And, then when I eat, and if I eat nothing but that sausage all day, it's crazy. It jumps up to 2.0 or 3.0, the blood ketones, you know, that test does. But this is one thing I wanted to add is that if somebody has problems, see, I have Hashimoto's also, thyroiditis, and I've had it for like 17 years, and I'm not sure if it's going to get cured with this because I don't know if maybe this thyroid's been destroyed too much in that much time, you know, of autoimmune, your immune system attacking it. So I still had to take that. That's the only medicine I take now. I cut out everything else. That's 125 micrograms of levothyroxine. I do take that. And I do take a little bit of iodine, like Dr. Ken Berry recommended, take like a drop or something, a glass of water or something. Right. A drop or 2 drops at the outside. And but I also that hasn't resolved. I mean, it's less than my high point. I used to take like 175 at the highest point of that to get, you know, level out. But my glucose has stayed like around 95 to 105. Which is considered high by a lot of people, you know, if you are, you know, relatively high. I mean, it's not like diabetic high, but it's, you know, it's high, borderline high. And I looked back through my records because I keep my blood tests and everything. I'm going way back. I mean, it's always been that, and it never changed. Even before I went on this diet, it was stayed at that. So the glucose level has never. Blood glucose has never changed. Now, the one thing that I wanted to say is, you know, so people don't think it's been totally just unicorns and rainbows. It's the fact that I have had leg cramps a lot, and I never had leg cramps before. So I have had that on this diet, and so what I do is to take keto chow electric light. I've tried a lot of them, but that seems to work the best for me. The electrolytes. Keto chow electrolyte.
Oh, electrolyte.
Okay. This is the ones that Ken Berry recommends. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
And I've tried all different kinds of magnesium because they, you know, that's usually the problem is magnesium. It's low in most people actually. So I guess this makes it just a little bit enough lower that you get leg cramps. But this is the most absorbable kind I could find. I have tried magnesium citrate, magnesium glutamate, or whatever. This L-threonate, it's called magnesium L-threonate. Apparently that's the most bioavailable, and it actually goes through the blood-brain barrier, so it actually helps your brain to, you know, recharge itself. It's worked out well in dementia patients, so I kind of need that. You know? At my age, I need all the help I can get.
It's been good to me.
But anyway,
Can you show us that one again? What
yeah, it's the I don't know if you can read it. Magnesium L.
Hold it up a little higher.
Thyroid. Oh, okay.
There they go. Yeah.
You got it now?
Okay, yeah, I see which
You
one.
see it? Okay.
Mhm.
Somebody can pause that way and look at it if they can't read it. I mean, but it's yeah, it's kind of I hadn't heard of it till just recently, and I've been using it for about several weeks now, and it's boy, it really works. Take a couple of those at night, and you sleep better, and you just I mean, and it no cramps or anything. So I recommend it, but it's Ernest recommended.
Yeah.
Whatever that's worth, it's not worth much. And yeah, and so and I didn't want to. I did while I was on here. I did want to plug what Dr. Baker has been pushing too. Is that I know on World Carnivore Tribe you can get this, but it's get into that Harvard study and do their questionnaire, because the more scientific research you can get to back up this way of eating. I mean, people like me can tell stories all day long, and they'll say, "Oh, it's just
Did you participate in that study then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have to be a carnivore for at least 6 months. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
I've been one for over a year this time,
Yeah.
She added it all up. Anyway, yeah, I should have never gotten off it the first time. I don't plan on ever getting off again,
Yeah.
But yeah,
most of your health conditions improved.
Mm-hmm.
Did your Hashimoto's, you're still working on that? And
yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not, going to be totally disappointed if it doesn't. There's one thing that I did do though, that I'm actually, but it's not as healthy as I could have been done. I had cut out coffee and heavy cream. I was drinking, coffee with heavy cream, and I cut that out for a long time, and nothing, and I cut out all sweets a long time ago, even the sweeteners and everything, back in the beginning, because I realized that was important. In fact, I even order special palm gum from Turkey that's just flavorless gum, or you can chew it just to get the chewing sensation if you want to chew gum, but it's no flavor. But even with that, it seems that that I was missing not having my morning coffee. I was really missing it, and so I went back to just the black coffee, and it didn't cause any problems. So I thought, well, that's good, And then I thought, I really do like having that heavy cream. I know everybody says, oh, it's good, but resist the temptation. I thought, well, I'm resisting a lot of temptations here, but that's one I'm going to try again and see if it works. Well, I mean, right away, I remember Jordan Peterson saying the downside of this diet is if you ever cheat, you right away, and and that's true. I started getting the itching right at my hairline and everything, and I thought, I'd quit it, and then it'd go away and start back, and then get itching again. So, but currently I'm cheating. I'm not on that. I'm still having my cream in my coffee, because that's my one thing, man. I'm cheating on, because I don't see any other problem other than that, So,
well, I don't call it a cheat really, because cream, I mean, it's from an animal. So.
Yeah, right. It's from an animal, and it's mostly fat, So it's it is kind of like I mean, it can be argued. Well, I don't know if it's much different than using ghee or something like that either, for that matter. I don't know, right. but but yeah, it does. People who have reactions to it, I know. My daughter. This is one other interesting thing. She's a vegetarian, and she's been one for 34 years. Her and her husband are, and everything. And when she comes to visit me, we actually go to eat at a steakhouse, because I eat the steak and she gets my salad and sides. It works out okay. She can get like a baked sweet potato or whatever, and salad and everything, and it's like, so you can make it work. And it's we've got the agree to disagree thing, going on, and it doesn't really matter. I'm not sit around and criticize her. She complains about having brain fog and all these kinds of things that are bothering her, all these allergies, and her allergies are always bothering her so much she has to wear surgical masks even when we don't have coronavirus. but I know it's what she's eating. I know it's coming from the child now. From all the stories I hear and the people's experiences, and it's like, but it's not worth jeopardizing the family relationship. Isn't it? It's the issue or anything, but she's a big girl. She's 46. So that's a big girl now. So
thank you so much, Ernest, for sharing all your information and your story. I really appreciate you doing that, because I know it'll help a lot of people.
Well, I hope so. I hope somebody, somebody that any kind of, I would say, if you're having any kind of skin condition or anything you're worried about, that's probably coming that way. And there's no other elimination diet that has no allergies associated with it. I mean, it's the only thing you could eat that for sure is not going to have an allergy reaction, is meat, and it's and for me, I just beef, like I said, it's been the best thing, except for those little sausages, breakfast sausage. They're pork, but yeah, I just don't too much. Once in a while, I'll do eggs too, but that's there again. I just stick to the yolks because I've read that the whites sometimes people are allergic to, actually. So that's the opposite of what the health people think, again, but it is what it is,
Right.
Well, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate the time here.
Oh, thank you too. I know that you'll help many people. It's a very interesting story.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.